they had repossessed my vehicle that morning. The guy was nice enough, though, because, you don't get no money until you're out there touring. So the song comes out and you're still sitting there penniless. And so the car, it was a little red rodeo, and it was...
a Zuzu.
Yes, yeah, and it was repossessed, but the guy was nice enough. He took it at 4 a.m., and he knocked on the door because there was a child seat in the back, and he didn't want to take off with my car seat. So he let me get the car seat out. Wasn't that nice of him? And when I started the car, as he was getting ready to hook it up, Redneck Woman was playing on the radio.
Stop it.
Yep.
For the first time you heard it?
That's the first time I heard it on the radio, and when my car was being repossessed and I was getting the child seat out of the back. And I immediately called my brother back home in Illinois because he said, it's pipe dream. This is never going to happen for you. Get a real job.
What?
Yeah. And
that's crazy.
He was in tears. He's like, I heard it too.
What did you have up here? What did you say to the tow truck driver? He's probably like, whatever.
Yeah, he didn't. I don't think he believed me. I was like, that's me on the radio. No.
Whatever. Is it more difficult to be authentic in 2024 than it was 20 years ago?
I think it's difficult to be anything. It's more difficult to be anything in 2024. I'm not even sure what language I'm allowed to use anymore. I just come from such a backwards sort of a family, absolute, people like, were there racists in your family? Yes, of course there was. My grandpa hated everybody that wasn't exactly like him. So I don't even know if you call that racist. He was just so completely closed off. Ignorance is what I call that because he never went anywhere. He didn't know anybody. He was not worldly, So, I don't know. I think the times are pretty nuts right now. I try to be as politically correct as I can everywhere I go, but I got to be honest, I don't know whether I'm calling you a they or a he or a she. That part is just beyond me. I'm fine with it, but you're going to have to be consistent. You're going to have to wake up every day and be the same person, or else don't get upset with me when I don't get it right because you changed your mind from yesterday to today. So, I feel like I don't know how to be anything other than authentic.
That's fair.
And that's what I'm going to stay being. And what I think if we lived in a world where we could just be a little bit nicer to each other if you make a mistake. Look, if you want to be called this, I'm fine with that. But if I make a mistake, don't hate on me. Just say, that's incorrect.
What mistakes would you say new artists are making nowadays? Do you see like a common mistake?
Ooh, for me, and maybe it's because I'm an old lady, I'm 51 years old, I feel like that they share too much. I feel like there's no exclusivity to being an artist anymore because everybody shares everything about themselves. And maybe I just feel like I'm too boring, but you will not see me on my social. I only say things when there's something to be said. I'm not like getting up going, well, today I'm going to do this. And
okay.
It's like, I am not that important, and people have lives to live. So, I feel like people share too much.
Okay. Now let's talk about like artists that come over to country. There's been a lot of that recently, like Post Malone is one of the newer ones. How do you feel about that? There's some that come over that make it, like Darius Rucker. There's some that come over that don't make it.
Right.
What's the difference and how do you feel about it?
That's a really tough question. I sometimes feel like in country music, we're kind of like the border, a little too wide open. We just, everybody come on in, we're going to, I get that feeling. But then there's other moments where I'm like, I'm so glad that country music is so all encompassing and that we have so much of a variety for people to listen to. I feel like it's one of those things, like if you don't like this song, well, you'll turn it off. You'll find another one that you do like. But country music has become so wide that if you can't find some part of country music that you like, well, there's kind of something wrong with you.
There's like subgenres now.
There is. And I may fit into one little piece of that, but as far as I can see, there's still an audience for that one little sliver of country music.